Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, our project is on cycling infrastructure prioritisation. Before I get started, I'd like to introduce the team. Hopefully it moves to the next slide. My name is Johan. I'm joined by James, Ruth and Cameron. We're a collection of data scientists and geospatial analysts. And we work together in our research division in Knight Frank, which is a global property consultant. I'd like to start by just looking at the challenges around climate transport and cycling. We know that the regional councils of Dublin are really keen to push forward this modal shift away from polluting vehicles towards something that is healthier, more active and carbon-free that cycling can provide. But of course, when it comes to cycling, it's no easy ride yet. There are still some key challenges that exist, and these might take the form of barriers to adoption. Key dissuaders often cited when it comes to the uptake of cycling are issues around safety, traffic, or lack of cycling facilities. We also know that there is inequality when it comes to cycling. Not everyone has equal access to bikes. And we know that there's actually a significant gender divide between male and female cyclists as well. And lastly, infrastructure. This is a really big pinch point. Because we have to be able to work with the existing infrastructure that we have. We have to be able to adapt and improve, the roads that exist for future needs. In this case, for preparing it for more and more cyclists that may come up in the future. And that's where our project comes in. So, what we hope to achieve is to try and address some of these problems. We hope to do that by providing a new and innovative analysis for Dublin that really tries to provide two things. The first being a cycle scheme accessibility assessment, and the second is identification of roads and junctions that Dublin councils could prioritise for review where cycling improvements could be made. We've used lots of open data in this project, Mobi, Bleeper and Dublin bike location data, but we've also drawn data from the CSO and community-driven data from OpenStreetMap, as well as Strava Metro data too. And of course, what we've been, what we try to achieve in this is to feed directly into Dublin's Transport Climate Action Plan that already states two key actions. The first being to expand cycle share schemes in Dublin, and the second is to construct more cycleways as well. And of course, the main point behind all of this is to reduce carbon, ideally through encouraging more cycling, that could be achieved by making Dublin cycling both safer and more accessible. So what were we able to achieve? The first objective was to look at cycle scheme accessibility. What we were able to do was calculate the 5-minute walking distance from every bike location across the city, of which, of course, there are many, many hundred. That's the shaded area you can see there on the map on screen. But when we looked at how the population density overlaps with the shaded area, we were able to determine that 15%, or about 200,000 people in Dublin, fall within 5-minute walk of a bike hire scheme. But perhaps what this map more importantly illustrates are those areas that are perhaps lacking easy access to public bikes, and that's particularly obvious as you move further away from the city centre. And it's these areas that we would recommend to Dublin to review, to look into as they decide to expand cycle schemes, and also ways that they could measure and track performance and success of these future cycle schemes as well. The second objective was to look at road and junction prioritisation, and the map shown on screen here are a selection of road sections, the red ones in particular that we're recommending to Dublin to review for possible cycling infrastructure improvements. And the way we've been able to do this is by looking at 20,000 journeys made on Mobi and Bleeper bikes across the city. We had to estimate the likely route those cycle journeys would have taken, and in so doing, we were able to account for changes in cycling behaviour as well. So perhaps some cyclists like to take the shortest route possible, but maybe others, there may be subtle variations between male and female cycling routes as well. And what we also did was to score all the roads in Dublin for cyclability by accounting for changes in road type, road speed and cycle lane provision as well. And by accounting for these different variables and factors, we were able to surface a selection of roads that we think should be prioritised for cycling infrastructure improvement. We did the same for road junctions in Dublin as well. The way we did this was to look at cycling throughput and the complexity of those junctions and the cyclability of those connecting roads. And again, by accounting for these different parameters, we're able to surface a selection of junctions shown there on the map in the red dots, and that we think could use some cycle infrastructure improvements as a priority. Lastly, what does the future hold? Well, I think first of all, our analysis was very much a proof of concept that I think we've been able to demonstrate. And with any sort of proof of concept, there's lots that could be improved, and there's a list of things that we think the future holds for us. But just to draw out a few specifics, we think accounting for things like traffic and road collisions would be really, really interesting and improve our scoring algorithm as well. Beyond that, we think there's lots of scope to possibly identify the optimal areas of where these cycle schemes be expanded into. And of course, this is a highly repeatable study based on open data, and that means that we could actually take the same analysis and apply it to different cities across Ireland and the UK possibly as well. So lots of exciting things for the future. That's it from me. Thank you very much. You can browse the full report online at the link provided. But otherwise, I thank you for your time.